once again, Tea Time with Carol. And I have missed you. I have been away for a bit, and I've missed feeling your energy and your love and all that. But I'm here, and I just want to come before you for a few minutes and talk to you on something that occurred to me a couple of days ago. And that is clouds won't kill you. And the reason I happened to go out of town this past weekend, and I'm just enchanted with clouds anyway. My grandson and I like to get on the phone and talk about, look at the clouds and talk about the different shapes and what we see in them and send each other pictures of clouds and, all that kind of crazy stuff. I mean, it's cute. It is cute. But I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy the wonder of clouds. And so it occurred to me, we were going through these clouds, beautiful, beautiful, cotton candy looking clouds, and it occurred to me that there are many things that we go through that look big and outrageous and out of scale, and we think that it's going to be so difficult, and we wonder if we're even going to be able to get through it. And then when we look back, it's like, oh, okay, I survived that. So clouds will not kill you. When, let me tell you let me back up and tell you where this really started. In 2014, now I'm not going all the way back to the flood, okay, so be okay. We're just going back a little bit here. But in 2014, I for my job, I went to India, which is like a, I don't know, 18-hour flight, something like that. And at the time, I was terrified. I'm not going to lie to you. I was terrified. I really, really did not like to fly. I mean, like, really. I couldn't go to sleep on a plane because I felt it was my mental energy that was keeping the plane, aloft. I didn't want to fly at night because I was afraid, well, if I can't see, the pilot can't see. Just really really crazy, irrational, makes no kind of sense. But that's what I was operating under, so when I tell you things, it's because of stuff I have been through and kind of halfway overcome. But anyway, on this trip, so I went to my doctor and I said, I'm flying, I'm very anxious, can you give me some medicine? And so the doctor prescribed something which I immediately filled and made sure I had it in my hot little hand when I got on the plane. And so, as we were on the runway getting ready to take off, on this first leg, leaving Washington, going to London, and then on to India. I was praying and feeling very anxious and very upset. And I just heard the Lord speak to me in this very quiet voice. And what I got was, are you going to trust me or are you going to trust the pills? And I said, oh, okay. Well, since you put it like that, okay. And so that was the most beautiful trip I have ever been on. I was very afraid of, I used to be on guard. I would be sitting on a plane like at military attention, just waiting for any little bump, thinking that any little bump or any little air pocket would send us, descending in a hail of flames or something, And so and I felt like this was God's gift to me by me saying that, okay, I'm going to trust you. And I didn't take the pills, by the way. I did not take the pills. And I felt like I was sort of rewarded in a way, if you will, that there wasn't an ounce of turbulence. It was smooth the whole time going and the whole time coming back. And I felt like God was just smiling on me saying, oh, okay, sugar, I know you. I know you got problems with this, so I'm going to make it a little easy on you this time, But ever since then, ever since that trip, I have not had any problems with flying, and I kind of enjoy it, to tell you the truth, So I was, okay, so that all happened. So that's the backstory to Clouds Won't Kill You. Because the other part of it was every time we went through a cloud, this is before, like 2014 and before. Anytime I would go through a cloud, I would be, gripping the seat things, thinking, okay, here, turbulence is coming, And even if it didn't, I was all primed for it, thinking, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen, and it's going to be terrible, and just anticipating stuff that there was really no need to be concerned about. But anyway, that's what we do. That's how we roll. We used to, not anymore. So this weekend, I went on a trip. I went to Texas, by the way, and the trip didn't go exactly as I planned, but there was so much beauty that came out of it until it's not even funny. I learned some things about myself, which I would not have learned otherwise. I ran into someone that I used to work with. As soon as I got on the plane leaving Washington, I there was a woman that I used to work with, and we had a kind of okay relationship, but wasn't anything to write home about. Politics is politics, and we were at very different ends of the spectrum, and she was much better at playing the game than I am, because I don't have no cut cards. I just boom. And sometimes jobs take a higher degree of finesse than that. And, I'm like, look, that's the lawyer in me. This is how it is. I'm not going to shilly-shally. I'm not going to tell you black is white and white is black because that's what you want to hear. I just can't do that. But anyway, and I'm not saying that's what she does, but she has marked out a path that has worked for her very well. Well, anyway, she was on her way to do an errand, and we ended up sitting for 2 hours and talking and connecting in a way that we had not been able to when I had been, at the agency. So that was a blessing. And then I had gotten some kind of negative news about my son, and we had not talked in quite a while. And so I reached out to him, and we had a very nice chat as I was on my way back, from Texas. We had a very nice chat, and actually I stopped. He lives in Orlando, and I had to change planes in Orlando, and he was like, "Oh, Mom, if I had known, if you could have stayed a little bit longer, I'd love to see you." And so it was a really, really, really nice, a very nice connection that we talked in a way that we haven't been able to in quite a while. So what does all this have to do with clouds not killing you? All right, glad you asked. So this is the deal. I see clouds, and this is what the Lord showed me as I was flying. Clouds, we look at clouds like they're problems, but when you're on the ground, clouds look very different than when you are flying. And if you've flown, you know what I'm talking about. Or maybe you're one of the ones that go to sleep and don't look out the window, so you have no clue what I'm talking about. But if you when you're flying, you find that a lot of times they will fly above the clouds. And so if you think of the cloud as your problem, when you're above a problem, it looks very different than when you're looking up at it. When you're on the ground looking at a cloud, it looks massive. You can't get around it. There's nothing you can do. It's this big monumental issue. But when you change your perspective and you look down on it, just like when you're on top of a mountain and looking down, everybody looks like, ants. Or when you're flying in, when you're coming in to land, everything looks very, very small until you're back on the ground again. So perspective is everything, And I'm reminded of something that my grandmother said. My grandmother had a million sayings, and one of them was, whenever there was something kind of bothering me, she would say, "Baby, wear it all like a loose garment. Wear it all like a loose garment." In other words, you don't take anything inside where it can hurt you or cut you. This you keep things away from you, away. Do you know what I mean? So that they don't permeate to where your essence is. So I'm saying all that to say you can change your perspective. And when you change your perspective, you change the nature of the problem. And when you change the nature of the problem, what looked like it was monumental and gargantuan and you couldn't figure your way around it, all of a sudden becomes pea-sized. It's about perspective. And I'm reminded of a story I heard. This was years ago. I heard a minister tell this story, and I think it bears retelling here. I may have told, no, I don't think I've told this one before. But anyway, bear with me if you've heard this one before. But I think it's really cute. He said he was going somewhere with his young daughter. She was a little girl, and they got on an elevator. And she was very small, so she was like at belt buckle level or below. And so first couple of people got on, it was okay. But then the elevator got crowded, and she turned to her father and she said, "Pick me up, Daddy. I don't like the view down here." And so I would suggest to you that that's something that we all can say to the Father when problems look like they're overwhelming, when problems look like they're so large and you just can't figure out a way out. That's the time that you and I both can say to God, our Father, "Pick me up, Daddy. I don't like the view down here." And that means relying on Him. I spent, oh my God, I can't even tell you how many years. This was some time ago, and part of my story that I'll share at some point. But I spent quite a lot of time trying to figure out when I was going through something. I was trying to, there's got to be a way out. There's got to be something. It never occurred to me to put it on the altar and leave it there. And I kept trying to figure it out, and I couldn't. I really couldn't. And it wasn't until I gave it over, when I really turned it over and didn't pick it back up again, that things began to change and shift and really change for me in a way that I told somebody the other day that, when you do it His way, you can go through a difficult problem. You can go through a really bad situation, but you'll come out and you won't even smell like smoke. You will come through it so well and with such grace that nobody will think you've ever had a troubled day in your life. So I think that was really the essence of what I wanted to share with you. That, our theme is fear and overcoming fear. And so this was a nice reminder for me that, I used to be afraid to fly. I wasn't, and then I was afraid for a very, very long time. I mean, I had to go to Atlanta. I had a job where I had to go to Atlanta kind of regularly. And I would take the midnight train to Georgia. That was me on the midnight train because I would ride the train all night rather than fly for 2 hours, because I was that afraid. I was that afraid to go. So, fear won't get you anywhere, but you change your perspective, and it's just changing how you look at it, changing how you look. And that sounds difficult, but it really isn't, because the first step is just turning it over to God, and acknowledging that you need to get out of your own way and you're seeking His help for a solution because you can't figure it out. And when you turn it over, that's when you've created space for his energy to take over. Because as long as you think you're going to do it, he's like, oh, okay, you got it, kid. Okay, great. Great. He's not going to take the reins from you. You have to lay them down. You've got to decide, I can't do this on my own. But, because we're independent and because we're so smart, we like to think that we can figure it out. I spent a lot of time saying, I can figure this out. I'm a smart person. I can figure my way out of this. And I really couldn't. I really could not. So, with that, beloved, that's really all I wanted to share with you. I hope you have if you're listening and not looking, I hope you have the opportunity to go on Facebook and look at, I'm posting a lot of the pictures of clouds that I took on this trip, because I just thought they were so beautiful, and I thought I would share them with you today. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I hope you just will recall when the next time you have an issue, just remember to say, clouds won't kill me. Clouds will not kill me. You can go through it. You can go through a cloud. You can go over a cloud. You can go under a cloud. You can go through a cloud. But either way, in any of those ways, it's not going to kill you. So until next time, this is Carol Moulton, wishing you and praying that you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And next week, God treats you just exceedingly well, more than you could ask or think, and you find an answer to whatever problem you've been facing recently. So, in the meantime, listen, be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. And until we meet again, this is Carol Moulton with Tea Time for Carol. I love you. Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.